And welcome to the Chicago Bears franchise rebuild. Here today we have another off-season as we are entering into year number 3 of the franchise. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. Well, we know this year's Super Bowl champions are officially the Dallas Cowboys. They are the new champions of the new team to beat. And your Chicago Bears are sitting here with a 6-11 record. After a season, after in year 1, we went, what, 2-15? Well, we improved by winning 4 more football games. And now we're looking to just improve even further with this roster. So before we get into everything that I want to talk about in today's episode, I first of all want to say thank you to every single one of you guys for subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, and interacting with them. I know they've been so all over the place. I'm hoping that after posting this episode that I'm going to be a lot more consistent with my uploads with this franchise. You know, we're already in March. We're only in we're only entering into year 3. So the time is kind of limited right now to get through this franchise and try to rebuild this team into a Super Bowl champions. So before we go into depth with the roster, let's go talk a little bit about retirements. I don't think we're going to have too many big name players retire, but around the league there's plenty. Harrison Smith, Bobby Wagner, Demario Davis, Adam Thielen, Tyron Smith here, Trent Williams. So a lot of big time players. Russell Wilson retires. We did have 4 players, excuse me, retire. Reef here we signed as a depth player, but Taylor here we brought in to be our 6th offensive lineman, and he played like it. Chandler Jones played some significant snaps, and Andy Dalton was our backup. But those are our only retirements for this team. So not too many to really think about, and I'm not really seeing too many other big name players besides a couple. No one really key to highlight. There could be more retirements in the up and coming stages of free agency, but as of right now, I don't think we're going to see too many. So let's go through this roster here. So right now we're on the salary cap and all the contracts. As you guys can see, our biggest contract was given out in last offseason to Josh Allen. Jalen Johnson is being paid a lot. Edmonds is being paid a lot. Eddie Jackson, he's officially going to be off the books. DJ Moore. These are the big contracts on the roster, but I wanted to show you guys just for the future prospects and what I'm kind of thinking about. So let's go through position by position. What do I want to accomplish here? So let's start here at the quarterback, the elephant in the room, Justin Fields. I think no matter what, we're going to be ending this episode with a rookie quarterback and a veteran quarterback. No matter what, we need to find a stable backup on this roster, and we need to be able to find a rookie quarterback to mold and develop. Fields, over these 2 seasons, has posted up over 4,000 passing yards, over an 80 QBR, or 80 passer rating, 31 touchdowns, 27 picks. He's been sacked about 50 times each year, and he's about a little bit of a 60% completion percentage with a right around 250 yards passing. I don't know if he's really the guy. I think he has shown throughout this past campaign he's going to throw a lot of turnovers, and it's going to be hurting. I mean, from week 11 all the way until the end of the season, he threw at least 1 interception. That's not good. We can't have that as our franchise quarterback. Does it mean that I'm going to trade away Justin Fields? At this moment in time, that is not the game plan. The game plan is to draft. If we're going to draft a quarterback, regardless of where we draft him, he's going to be they're most likely going to be the major competition for Fields. The veteran quarterback is going to, I want someone who can be a mentor, but someone that could come in and pitch relief if necessary. So quarterback is going to be a major topic. We do have Carson Curtis here, an undrafted rookie from last year. He will have an opportunity to compete for a roster spot next during the preseason. In terms of this running back room, as you guys can see, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert are both entering as free agents. And now, Rashad Penny has 1 year left on his deal, but he has regressed to a 66 overall, and he did not get that much playing time, and he lost a ton of stuff. He might be a player that we just right out cut here. We could save a couple $1 million. It's a potential move that's going to be made. I do like BJ Cash a lot. He really had a good rookie season, but I don't think he's the bell cow that we're looking for. So what do we do with Khalil Herbert? What do we do with Antonio Gibson? Well, I think Gibson's a player that's going to, regardless, going to be testing. For Herbert right now, it's most likely he's going to test. So with that being said, we're going to need a new starting running back on this roster. Someone who could take the load and the pressure off of whoever's at quarterback. And Herbert is starting to regress. I don't know if that's going to change his contract demand, but if there's a chance to keep him, I would love to have Herbert back on the roster. If not, we're going to have to make a move here. Running back is something that I would like to end with also 2 veterans, not a rookie. I don't think that this draft class has, I think this rookie class has 1 good back in it, but I don't want to draft him in the 2nd round. So I think that we're going to try to get some veterans to really play this role. BJ Cash will probably be the major featured back, but, veterans are going to be more the route we turn here. In terms of fullback, I mean, Cam Richardson here, he's the guy. I like him. Probably just got to give him the ball a little bit more. He only carried the ball 4 times for a touchdown. But yeah, in terms of this receiving room, not gonna do too much here. We have, in my opinion, plenty of receiver depth. This is one move though. Jones here, we're gonna outright cut him, save $1 million. I don't want him on the books. So in terms of receivers, I think we're okay. DJ Moore is still here, and I think we'll have plenty of money to keep him next year. But we have 3 young guys that I really like in Kendall Bush, Tyler Scott, and Matt Dunn here. We still have Beckham on the roster. So overall wise, I'm not looking to make any sort of changes here at the receiving room. In terms of the tight end group, as I said at the end of last episode, in my opinion, we have not utilized very well Cole Kmet. Kmet has kind of just been a guy who catches a football for 5 yards and that's it, or 7 yards and that's it. We need to see if he can be the guy. I like Kmet a lot, and I hope that I'm going to make it more of an emphasis to get him the football next year. He still has 3 years on his deal. He's 26 years old. He can get better. It's just giving him opportunities. I would like to get a veteran on this roster and a rookie, but we're not going to force the issue here. In terms of this offensive line, well, we have Braxton Jones still has a year on his contract. Tevin Jenkins we have to figure out. We still have Connor Williams under contract, and we still have both Nate Davis and Brad under contract. Nate Davis could be a player we cut. As you guys can see, we could save $7 million or just about. So do we look to cut Nate Davis? Potentially. But that's only if we could keep Tevin Jenkins. I don't think that we can, but this is going to be interesting. I do think that we need to sign at least 1 or 2 good veteran offensive linemen. And Larry Braun here could be one of those players. Even though his ratings aren't standing out in any sort of spot, he doesn't have that glaring weakness, in my opinion. Maybe run blocking power, but overall, in my opinion, Larry here is a quality lineman to keep. Potentially, of course. I know I talked highly about Johnny, and Johnny could be a player that we draft. And could we draft Johnny Derby and move him to guard, and that replaces Tevin Jenkins? That's a real possibility. Tevin, though, he's our best offensive lineman in my opinion. And do we really want to move off of him? I don't know just yet. It's going to be an early decision, but it's going to be a tough decision early on in this offseason. But offensive line depth is important to me. Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, where we spent a ton of money and a ton of time adding players. We'll start here at the pass rushing position. In my opinion, we have Josh Allen. We have a guy that should and will get consistently 10 sacks. He got 10.5 a year ago, and that's even missing a few games in this past campaign. He missed a couple games. So I'm hoping that he can stay healthy, continue to be the dominant force that we signed him to be. You know, we're paying him, you know, low-end quarterback money. So I'm hoping more expectations on Josh Allen. Player like Cam Sample, probably not going to keep him. For Robinson here, who's had, in my opinion, 2 years here and 10 sacks, 22 TFLs. He's an excellent rotational guy, but we need to find that other edge rusher on this team. And I think we'll turn to the draft for that, trying to get someone young to kind of recuperate this defensive, the edge rushing position. In terms of the defensive tackle, both Andrew Billings and Poona Ford here are pending free agents. And, you know, Billings might be a player that we consider trying to keep. He still has good power moves and good tackling, or okay tackling. But right here, right now, I don't think we're going to make too much of a push to try to bring either one of them back. I would like to add a veteran, because I think moving forward, both Dexter and Angelo Martinez here will be the guy. These are going to be the guys we're going to move forward over the next few seasons. But defensive tackle and defensive line depth is very important to me. In terms of the linebacking core, well, we have Tyler Chapman. We have Steven Timmons here. We have, you know, TJ Edwards. We have depth across this linebacking room. So as of right now, I don't think we're going to be making really any sort of moves here. There is a linebacker that I like, and maybe we do draft him if it's just BPA perspective. But overall, I think we have two very good young up-and-coming linebackers, two quality veterans, and a veteran here in TJ Edwards. If we want to cut, we can. If we want to trade him to get some draft capital back, we can. But as of right now, I'm not looking to make any sort of moves here at the linebacking spot. In terms of this corner room, I think the only way that I add a player here is if it's a veteran to a 1 or a 2 year contract. You know, Kyle Gordon here and Stevenson, they played a little bit throughout this season. I don't know who to really go forward with. I think they're kind of the same type of player in my opinion. But I do like Max Cox, Jalen Johnson I really like. So we have at least 2 out of our 3 corner spots. And then the back half, it's fine with me. You know, we'll figure that out. But we're not going to force any sort of issue here in the secondary. Same thing here at safety. You know, we have CJ Gardner-Johnson. We signed him to a 5-year deal. Of course, you sit here and look at Eddie Jackson. Do you want to keep Eddie try to keep him a Bear for life? I mean, I would like that, but I'm not going to force the issue here with Jackson. If he wants to move on and play for a new team, we might as well let Eddie have that opportunity to do so. And then you turn it over to the free safety spot, you know, Jamal Adams here, and this could be a major cap relief, you know, because I think you can make the argument that Adams is just kind of an overpaid safety for us. You know, he had 1 sack, 9 TFLs, 0 interceptions, 1 deflection. I think you can make this solid argument that moving off of Jamal Adams does make a whole lot of sense for us. But if we do that, then it puts a major hole here at strong safety. But do you move off of Adams and then you keep Eddie Jackson, save that money, but still have a good veteran? Maybe that's what you do. I don't know just yet. You know, I don't think Isaiah Wolf or Jonathan Abram can really take over. But yeah, safety is gonna Adams, and what we do with him, he's gonna be a very interesting puzzle piece to fit if we want to keep him on the roster. Part of me wants to. We know we have our kicker, and Trent Gill. It's a 50-50 right now if I want to keep Gill. He has not been the best punter. He has excellent kick power, but not the best kick accuracy. If we have a chance to upgrade him, sure, but I'm not going to force the issue with Trent. Not at all. Okay, that's my in-depth of the roster. Let's go have some fun here. Let's get into let's get into the offseason. Let's have a little bit of fun here. And let's go improve this Bears team and try to improve from year number 2 to year 3. As we have the newest mock draft number 3. And as you guys can see here, we officially have the 6th overall selection here. And we have the number 13 selection. And they're saying that they're going to have us draft 2 running backs here. Not doing that. But that is, you know, that last victory probably pushed us back a few spots here out of the top 5. And, you know, if we want Artie Richards, we might have to trade up and go get him. And that's going to be interesting. A lot of tackles here in the top 5. There's Keith Randall if we wanted to draft a different rookie quarterback that I like. I don't know if I'm going to go BPA or trying to get needs hit more on this roster. There's Johnny, who I would like to draft. I don't know just yet if we're going to be able to do so. But they're projecting right now, I think, 4 quarterbacks to go in this year's first round. And another Tyron Smith going to the Dallas Cowboys. So that would be interesting. But we're at the free sign phase here in free agency. We have right now $14 million. Yeah, we're not going to be able to keep anyone. We can't, reasonably we can't. And if we want to make any sort of moves, we're going to have to make some cuts on this roster. So right here, right now, all 13 pending free agents, they're all going to have to test here, and we're going to have to figure out a way to save money if we want to keep Tevin Jenkins or Khalil Herbert or really add any new faces in free agency. So I'm going to sim to the next week, and let's have some fun here. And we are officially, first move we're going to be making is officially cutting Rashad Penny. We're going to save about $1 million. He's a 66 overall. We'll find the depth. But right now, that's the only cut casualty that I'm going to be making here. And that should give us about $16 million. And here is open free agency. You have Brandon Ayuk, Joel Batoni, Hayden. We got a lot of good players out here. Not the strongest free agency class, but a quality free agency. So I'm feeling a little bit good about this. There's not a ton of talent here, but let's start here at the quarterback position. You have Jordan Love out here, Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley, Gardner Minshew. There's a few good veterans out here. Some of them I like a little bit more than others, obviously, and they're saying that we're already targeting 2 players. I don't know why. It's just kind of a glitch. So technically in this round, we can only try to sign 3 free agents. But in terms of running backs, I mean, Khalil Herbert's out there. He has no interest in coming back, though. But there's Kenneth Gainwell. That's a quality back. But other than, Gainwell, there's not too many other big-name running backs that want to come here. So I don't know if we're going to be able to find a quality veteran. Not looking to add a wide receiver, but there's going to be some big moves here in Brandon Ayuk, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins is out here, Nico Collins. We all know he's a channel favorite. Brandon Cooks, who's been a part of just about every single one of my rebuilds, I believe. But not looking to do much there. We could sign Will Dissly, as you guys well know that I consistently destroys us every single time we play against him. In terms of this offensive line, you know, Tevin Jenkins already getting some interest. So if we want to try to keep Jenkins, and he would be the player that I would put a little bit more of importance, he would take up the remaining of our salary. I mean, it would be just too much to try to keep Tevin. It's just an inevitable move that has to happen. So this is going to be very interesting what we want to accomplish. Couple offensive tackles here. In terms of pass rusher, you know, I would consider bringing in a veteran, but it's just too much money. And defensive tackle, I don't think we're going to be able to bring in a guy that, you know, even for a season, it's going to be a lot. I'm not really finding someone here that I'm immediately intrigued to try to go get. So especially with the limited cap space. Now this could be a spot here we could try to sign one of these 80 overall corners, you know, like Benjamin St. Juste here, or Michael Carter, who's 26 years old, trying to revive a little bit of his career. You know, we have Wallace, Levi Wallace here, could be a quality veteran to come in. And he has interest in coming here. This could be a move for us. Levi Wallace, who did have a pick 6 against us I think in the last game of the season. So Wallace is 30 years old, solid man, solid zone, and he could just be that solid veteran. I'm actually gonna make this will be actually the first official move we try to make here. Try to bring down the money just a little bit. A 1 year, $4.5 million. You know, what do you think, Wallace? Could be a solid veteran in the secondary. Eddie Jackson, he's out here. I don't know if we're gonna really prioritize trying to keep a veteran like him. Would like to keep him, but right now I don't know. And actually, yeah, you know what? We will be making a contract offer here to Eddie Jackson. I think that, you know, he has interest in coming back. And yeah, I'll give him this 2-year deal. No, I can't. Not right now. Maybe. Let's look at this roster here and see what I'm comfortable, if any players, if I'm comfortable moving off of or making a trade. So looking around this roster, there's 3 players. Number 1, Jamal Adams would give us the most relief in terms of cap room. Jamal is a player that I really like. But is he just kind of a one and done type of player on this roster? Potentially. He gives us back $17 million that we can allocate this cash somewhere else to. The other player's TJ Edwards here, 29 years old, quality off-ball linebacker, but we have so much young depth that I don't know if even Edwards would get a chance to be even on the field. You know, with both the rise of Steven Timmons and Tyler Chapman, I want those 2 guys to be playing. So I think that TJ Edwards is the first player that we would have to look to move off of, because we already have 2 starters ready to go. And then the final player is another player that could relieve a good amount of cap room in Nate Davis here. Davis is 28 years old. He's more of a run blocker. I definitely think he improves our running game when he's out there. The problem with moving off of Nate Davis is he's a quality offensive lineman, and we've already kind of gonna probably lose Tevin Jenkins. So it very much means that we, for one, need a guard, you know, because we have our 2 starters here. We would absolutely need to find a guard in free agency or in the draft, as well as finding at minimum 1 other veteran to come here and play, because Daniel Wright missed some time, Brad has been injury prone, and Connor Williams missed some time a season ago. So overall, guys, we need to have a quality 6th and 7th offensive lineman on this team, and moving off of right now Nate Davis is probably a move I don't want to make right now. But I am more than willing to move off of TJ Edwards. Let's go see if I can find a trade partner. And a deal has been made here. I am trading TJ Edwards to the Atlanta Falcons to get Tyler Algier. We're also sending them a next year's 6th round pick to kind of sweeten the pot here. Edwards is 29, Algier's 25, I believe, or 26. But now we just got our bell cow. We just replaced Khalil Herbert with this decision. We also, you know, with doing that, we relieve some cap space. But we have now given ourselves a starting running back in Tyler Algier. We're going to give him a true legitimate opportunity. Algier is not being paid a ton, so we're saving money there. And I think overall wise, they're very comparable. He's 25 years old. He's coming off of a 7 touchdown campaign. I like Tyler Algier a lot. And I think he can just be that solid back for this roster. So right here, right now, running back has kind of been checked off here, and we saved some money here. So I'm very happy with that decision. Of course, now linebacker becomes not a need, but it definitely, you know, TJ Edwards was definitely a player that I was hoping to keep just for that depth, but we still have Steven Timmons here, who's just going to be moved over to the right side of this linebacking core. I think he has a true legitimate opportunity to make some plays and to grow and develop. Very like him. And you have Tyler Chapman, so we're okay here. So right now, you know, not looking to trade Jamal Adams or Nate Davis at this current moment in time. Still could happen, but we just saved some money right there. So due to the fact that we can only make 3 offers, not 5 because Madden sucks, we're gonna be going after 3 kind of interesting players here. Eddie Jackson, trying to bring him back on a 2-year contract. Really like Eddie. Levi Wallace here to be a veteran corner in this room. So we're hitting on the secondary, and Matt Ioannidis. I think that we can be able to get the offensive line depth that's necessary, as well as I think that we can be able to replace. I think we now have replaced Khalil Herbert. We have our running back at least for next season. Finding the replacement for Tevin Jenkins is of course key. But I think if we bring in Eddie Jackson, this is like very much of the key here. If we can keep Eddie, Jamal Adams will be traded. So let's evaluate here. Let's see what we got. And one decision has been made, and welcome back Eddie Jackson, who signed a 2-year contract to come back to play for the Bears. So you guys know what that means. We're going to be moving off of official Jamal Adams. Levi Wallace here and Matt Ioannidis are getting some contract interest, but now I want to trade Jamal. I think that trading away Jamal Adams makes a whole lot of sense for this team. Adams, in my opinion, wasn't a massive impact for this defense, and that means that CJ Gardner-Johnson will start at strong safety this year, and Eddie will be at least the starter, but right now at least one of the starting safeties. So let's go make a move here for Jamal Adams. Let's just try to get the best options for us. And a deal has been done as we're trading away Jamal Adams and the 6th overall selection to the Houston Texans to trade up in this NFL draft class to have officially the number 3 overall pick and acquiring a 2nd round pick while also relieving $17 million. So the Texans wanted to improve their defense. They were willing to give me Will Anderson. I was not going to do that out of realism. I don't think any team would have done it. There were 4 other teams. The Patriots, they already had Jabril Peppers, and the Lions already had Darren Branch. Not trading it to them. Pittsburgh was another team, but they also just signed Richie Grant. Houston didn't have a safety, so we just traded them to give them a big puzzle piece for their team, and we just gave ourselves a massive savings, as well as being able to trade up in this NFL draft class, which now allows us to make some more moves here. And so I'm gonna go see if we can try to recuperate any sort of, as now we have $21 million to play with. So now we're gonna be targeting Za'Darius Smith here, offering him a big 1-year contract. I'm hoping Za'Darius can come in here and be the guy for this defense. As we evaluate, Smith decides to decline us. We're going to evaluate one more time with these players, and still no decision being made. Let's go look around the league and see who's been signed, as we have not been able to make too many signings just yet, only bringing back Eddie Jackson. But Brandon Ayuk has gone to the Arizona Cardinals. Joe Patonia has joined the Texans. Hayden Riddick here went to the Titans. Amari Cooper went to the New York Jets. Ryan Jensen here went to the Titans. Za'Darius Smith goes to the Titans as well. David Njoku went to Detroit. As well as, let's see if there's any. Tevin Jenkins going to Carolina. So we've lost out on him. Benjamin St. Juste went to the, I think the Steelers. What's his name, found a home just yet? Khalil Herbert has yet to find a home. So we'll see. But I'm going to now sim to the next week, and then hopefully we can make some more signings. And that's what we're going to basically do with the remaining of this cap space, is try to bring in depth. So I went around and found a couple more players that I want to try to get. So you guys know Levi Wallace, but Jonah Williams here, tackle. Jamal Williams here at a running back. Kendrick Green here, and Jacoby Brissett. So a few new names here. A lot of these guys would be depth purposes. We still have about $11 million. So far, we've only signed Eddie Jackson. So let's go through these next 3 evaluation periods. And we brought in Matthew Ioannidis and Kendrick Green here. So we've now added the depth in terms of the defensive tackle that I wanted to add, as well as the offensive line, at least the guard depth. I think that is very key, as I continue to hit the wrong button here. No more re-signings. Let's evaluate one more time, and still no more, but a couple players have made decisions. So it looks like we're not going to get Levi Wallace and a couple other players. I don't know where they all went to, but that's unfortunate. Not going to go out there, not going to spend any more time with this. I think we're kind of done here in free agency. So right now, this is the current mock draft. We now have the number 3 overall selection. Artie Richards is looking like he could go number 2 overall now. We did trade up, and could there be another trade up option? I don't know just yet. But, you know, we traded up here with the Houston Texans. They're still projecting us to take 2 running backs, not thinking about doing that. But overall, guys, you know, right here, right now, I don't think that we're gonna, I think we're gonna stay pat here, unless we really want Artie. I don't know just yet. I'm gonna have to probably make him a focus player. But right here, right now, that is the draft selection, or mock draft. What's it called? The scouting reports are out, or the combine reports. So, you know, right here, right now, looks like Artie Richards is a quality athlete, solid throw power. If we go to Keith Randall here, my second favorite quarterback, less speed, but more of a pocket passer, good throw power. Matthew here, a little bit more speed, but not the hugest fan. Christian Murray here, more of a pocket passer, but he's a UDFA guy. And Carlin Valentine here, elite speed, quality speed, I would say. But nothing too special here for Valentine. Both Valentine and Murray are 2 guys we could draft in the back half of the class, but Artie Richards are nothing, it's seeming like, here in the first round, in my opinion at least. Other players that I kind of want to highlight, Johnny Derby here, who I really like. He is great to elite across the board. He is strong, fast, he can move. Johnny's a player that we have to end this draft with, I think. He's that much of a key factor for us. No one really else has stand out too massively, in my opinion. Not even the edge rushers. So this is going to be kind of more of a see what happens on the fly, I feel like, during the draft. It might be a BPA type of approach, unless we're really in love with Artie. This is the recap here, as we did get Jonah Williams, as well as Jacoby Brissett. So our offensive line depth is kind of checked off here. We were able to accomplish that. We still have $16 million. But we've now checked off the offensive line depth, the defensive tackle depth, and the backup quarterback that I like. So, and Jacoby, he's, to show you guys his ratings at 32 years old, he still has decent enough throw power, okay enough short accuracy. He can be a solid number 3 guy on a team. I like Jacoby Brissett. Jonah Williams here, he can be a solid tackle. You know, he's more of a pass pro, but I like that more for my backup tackle spot. So he's taking over for Jawan Taylor. He's 27 years old, and Kendrick Green here. And we got Taylor for 2 years, or Williams for 2 years. For Green, we got him for a season. Not that expensive, 26 years old, can still grow and develop. You know, he has some holes in his game, but he's just a quality depth offensive lineman. So happy with free agency, not too many splash moves. We might have gotten a little worse, it might feel like, but I think with this draft class, with 2 top 15 selections or 13 selections, we can make some moves here. So let's go look at some players now. So to easily start off here with, I think you have to start with Artie Richards. Trying to get him to 100% is key right now. You know, we're not thinking about wide receiver. Tight end is, you know, something else. I think we know that Johnny's an excellent prospect, so not thinking about him. I think there was another offensive lineman that I really would consider. Actually, no. I think we need to focus a little bit on the defensive side of the ball with these last 2. Now, you could argue here safety. So if we're going to look at the combine report for these safeties here, you know, Rudy here, he's not the fastest, but he was a 4.4. It just says solid speed. I don't know what that really entails. So what about Matthew or Miles here? Fastest in the class at 4.4, but he's not a burner. He's not going to beat you. Then I think Kevin Ramsey, I like him for his hit power. I think it was Deshaun Hill who was the most intriguing safety. And yeah, he has very good speed. I think we're going to put Hill on as one of these players, trying to kind of figure him out a little bit more. And then I'm going to quickly try to figure out which pass rusher I like the best. You know, my goodness, none of these guys really stand out. I'm gonna go with Chuck Gardner here. He's a pass rusher. I really like him. I think he could be a guy that we could potentially draft. So we're gonna be, I guess, doing these 3 guys. We're gonna be looking at Chuck Gardner, a pass rusher, Deshaun Hill, a safety, and Artie Richards, the quarterback. Just trying to get as much information as humanly possible with the remaining draft. So this is right now just me generating the best lineup here. You know, we do have, you know, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offensive linemen that I'm comfortable with playing and starting. So I'm checked there. Want to draft a rookie quarterback. That's important. Finding a running back is important. Receiver we're set at. Tight end we've yet to really accomplish what I wanted to, but we'll accomplish that during preseason, I assume. We've gotten the veteran defensive tackle. I think maybe drafting a rookie could make sense, but pass rusher makes a lot of sense for this team. Safety you could argue, but Eddie Jackson is going to be playing. This corner room, we did not get a veteran here, so that's a question. And maybe some depth across this linebacking core, because after these 3 guys right now, I don't know who could really play. Monty Rice would probably be the guy that I would be most comfortable with at this current moment in time. So we'll see. But the third overall selection is going to be key for really how we play out the rest of this draft class. So let's get right into it. As the New England Patriots will have the first pick in this draft class. I don't know what moves they're going to be making, but let's go see. And the first pick for the New England Patriots would be Tony Denter, tackle out of Boise State. Now, this is the spot where if you like Artie Richards, you go get him. Let's view the draft board. Let's see if we got what we have here. So he's a first to a second round talent in this draft class. Let's see, Deshaun Hill, didn't get anything for him. And then for Chuck, we didn't get anything for him. Okay, so at least we got the information here on Artie. He is not a top 5 selection, so I'm comfortable simming this selection and taking the best player, in my opinion, available. And Artie Richards is gone. He's drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Could this be the mistake? Let me know down below if this is a mistake here by trading up in this draft class and not drafting Artie Richards. So now, you know, do we decide to trade back? This is definitely a possibility, in my opinion. We're in the 2025 NFL draft. You know, we could trade back to 25. You know, we're not going to get a U-Haul of selections. You know, New England's trying to trade back up, but I don't really want to have just one first round pick. Now, is there any player realistically that I really want to draft with a third overall selection? Artie Richards was that guy for me, but you know, we have Dalton here, who's an excellent tackle prospect. You know, we could go tackle here, and you know, there's a ton of them. This could be a spot that you draft. Keith Randall here. Do we love Keith Randall? I did say it was either Randall or Richards, and we don't know if he's really the guy. You know, we know he has solid medium accuracy, good B accuracy, don't know about the short accuracy, and he is not mobile at all. So do you go in that direction? Do you sit back and draft a guy like Deshaun Sherman here, who's a pass rusher, who's strong, a little bit of quickness? You know, you could get your edge rusher here and maybe be content. Do you draft Chuck here? You know, he was a guy that I do like. You know, he has solid speed, he's strong, he has good power moves. You know, I do like Chuck a lot, and he would play defensive end for us. You know, do you go with, you know, Deshaun Hill? I don't think you draft a safety here. This is a tough spot now. I'm going to try to make a trade back here because there's a few players that I would like to draft, but I think having the third selection doesn't make sense for us. So maybe we try to trade to the number 10 selection. And a deal has been made here. This is not a lot coming back for us, but we don't need this selection here. So we're not getting any other capital for this up and coming draft class, but we're trading back 5 spots for the LA Chargers. We get a 3rd next year and a 6th next year. I just don't think that we need this selection. Let LA get a player that they probably wouldn't have gotten, and they get Deshaun Sherman here, so they get their edge rusher with Nick Bosa. And you know, now we're gonna kind of let this draft board go as 2 big tackles go. Houston now has an opportunity. They get Xavier Lincoln, and we're back on the clock here. And you know, more of those tackles went, and we now have the 8th selection here. And this is probably the spot if we want Keith Randall. If you don't want Keith Randall, you don't draft him here. I think it's either him or you kind of just move forward with what we got here. You know, I'm not looking to draft a receiver. You know, this could be a spot that, because I like Johnny a lot. He is my favorite prospect, but I do think that right now, if we wanted to go get a pass rusher, this is the spot to do so. And I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to pass up on Keith Randall here. And we're going to go with Chuck Gardner here. Pass rusher. 21 years old out of Clemson. Hidden development. 80 speed, 84 strength. He will play on the opposite side of Josh Allen. He will play some snaps with Robinson. We get the edge rusher of the future. I like him a lot. Change of direction is a little concerning, but I like Chuck Gardner. We'll see what he can do for this defense. But now let's keep moving forward here. Let me know down below what you guys thought of that selection. And I am hoping that I did not just mess up by not drafting the offensive lineman that I wanted, and I didn't. So you guys all know the selection here. We're going to be drafting here Johnny Derby here. Johnny, across the board, he's just a prospect that you just can't miss here. Johnny's the selection. 91 strength, hidden development, excellent change of direction. He will most likely be a starter in this up and coming season. This is right here the replacement for Tevin Jenkins. This was probably the move all along, and I am very happy with that. We improved both the offense and the defensive lines, and you guys know that that's how I like to build my teams. So obviously now Keith Randall is in the back of my head. Do we want to go get him? Deshaun Hill has gone. He just went to LA Rams. I would sit here and say if he gets into the 20s, I might make a move, but New York scoops him up here at number 19 as they might be trying to replace Daniel Jones here. And we will be chucking along here. I know I'm not going through every single selection, but you know, I'm looking at, you know, 2 pass rushers just went, as Detroit just got an improvement. Zach Griffin, who is a good corner. This is an excellent corner group. Something I had not talked too much about because we just don't need it. But overall, I am happy with the 2 selections we did make. It was kind of interesting, but I felt that was fair. And basically we traded Jamal Adams for Chuck Gardner, and that's okay with me. There goes Matthew, the other quarterback. He just went to the Denver Broncos. Tommy Starks, he just went to LA. And the last selection here in the first round is Tyron Smith. I guess the son of Tyron Smith, who just retired. As we now enter into the second round, let's look at the board real quick. You know, obviously now you sit back, and if I want to draft a quarterback, it's going to be in the back half of this class. We still have a second round selection, 2 3s, 2 4s, a 6, and a 7. So one of these guys is going to be on this roster. I don't know who just yet. You know, this could be a spark that we draft Marcus Hand here. You know, we don't have, we only have right now 2 active running back, but Jamarcus Hannon, he's my favorite running back prospect. Could be a guy that we draft here. My 2 favorite receivers are still out here, and Mike Hyde, he might be the best player available if he makes it to us. Is that a player that I'm willing to pass up on? We could go tight end here. There's a fair amount of prospects. I don't think we're going to go offensive line just yet again. But pass rusher is still on my mind. I'm not done trying to get pass rushing depth on this team. Same thing here with defensive tackle. But right here, right now, you know, could we go corner? There's still, in my opinion, 3 quality corners out here. You could decide to go as safety. Do you go in that direction here? I don't know just yet, but there's a few good prospects. No one that I'm willing to trade up to go get, but overall, I think we're in a very good spot here. We'll slow sim to our selection, then we'll start to move fast. There goes Kevin Ramsey, a hard-hitting safety. There goes one of the better corners. There goes another corner. As we have a couple more picks, more corners. Mike Hyde, could he make it to our selection? And he did. This is an interesting turn of events, guys, because I would sit here and say that Mike Hyde is the best player right now on the board. He has 4.4 speed. He has good hands. He is everything that you want as a receiver. But where do we play him? We have Kendall Bush. We have Tyler Scott, Matt Dump, and DJ Moore. Mike Hyde, he's a great prospect, but I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense for our team right now. I think we have other needs. Now, some of you might be saying, what about Dalton Lacey? Sees across the board in terms of accuracy. He has a strong arm. I just don't think that Dalton Lacey is the future at quarterback for us, so I'm not looking at that. But I'm going to look around, see if there's any interesting prospects on my board, or not. So we're in a very interesting spot here. So, in my opinion at least, you could draft Jamarcus Hand here. You have your running. You could have a young back for the next few seasons. That's one option. Another option is Mike Hyde, quality receiver prospect. Another position is Caden Mills here, tight end. I think he has great speed. It looks like he can block fairly solid. No, he can't really block, but he would be a good number 2 tight end on this roster. We could go in the direction of drafting a defensive tackle in Cortez Watkins here, who has B and A power and finesse moves. So do you go with a guy like him? Very interesting. Or do you go with a guy like, I don't remember where he was, Caden Humphreys here, who has, who's more of a power rusher, but you know, he's strong, he's fast. You know, do you try to hit on that right now? Do you go in the direction of trying to draft a corner here in Dalton Kelly, who's the fastest in the class, 6'4"? Get a big corner on this roster. It is a very interesting spot to be. And, you know, I mean, if we look at it like this, guys, there's a running back that I'm considering. So we have a running back that we're considering right now. We have a running back that we're considering. We have a wide receiver that we're considering. A tight end that we're considering. A pass rusher, I believe, that we're considering as well. Yeah, we're considering Clayton, James Moten, and these guys are more defensive tackles. Not thinking about that. So a pass rusher or a defensive tackle that's very interesting, and a corner. And it's tough here. I think if you're gonna go based off of our needs, you know, I would sit here and say maybe a running back, the tight end, the defensive tackle would probably make the most sense. Any of those 3 guys. Okay, I've thought about this for too long. I'm going with the most interesting prospect. Cortez Watkins here will be the selection, and he has normal development. 92 strength though. I have to see his power and finesse moves, because this could be a bad selection if he does not have good power and finesse moves. But I think he's a very interesting prospect. That's why I'm going with him here. So we continue to help out the trenches of this roster, and I'm hoping that can continue to help us improve here. And now I'm going to kind of go a little bit faster here. If there's any players that I see that are in significance, I will talk about it. Here comes Cade Mills being drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders. Leighton Murphy's here, just got drafted by the New York Giants. Mike Hyde just went the next selection, going to the Niners. Jamarcus Handon here just got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. So now we're going to play against him twice this season. And we have made it to our selection here. In the 3rd round, we have 2 3rd-round picks here. Dalton Kelly is still available. That's very interesting that he's on the board. He would be a fun player to bring in and come in here and help out this team. We We have one running back still on the board, a few receivers, a few tight ends. So we're gonna have to kind of decide on that. A few offensive linemen still, nothing that I'm gonna be making any sort of moves on just yet. A couple pass rushers. I do think that this spot is a spot where I think it makes a whole lot of sense to draft Dalton Kelly, and I think that's the move. Best player available, most intriguing prospect. Let's go get Dalton Kelly. He's normal dev, 93 speed, excellent athlete. I like Kelly. He's 6'4" as well. As we just moved up to our second, third round selection here, as we have gone both offense, we've gone pass rusher, offensive lineman, defensive tackle, and corner. Now, now what do you try to accomplish here? Because, you've gotten your pass rusher, you've helped out the offensive line. Do you try to draft a running back here? John Hancock here, he's the only guy that I really like. Not thinking about a receiver, but I think that this is a spot where we draft a tight end. So we have three guys that I am considering here. Jerry Gay here, 22 years old. He has elite speed. Jerry could be the guy here. Dalton Olson here, 22 years old. I think we're gonna go here with, I think the more intriguing prospect than Jerry here. Jerry Gay will be the selection. Elite speed. He's not the strongest, but I think he can make some plays, so Gay will be the selection. 88 speed with hidden development here in the third round, giving... Right now, it looks like Justin Fields' job is secure, but Jerry is the guy. We move up into the fourth round now as Tim Smith here. He was one of my back half receivers that I really like. And, this is now a spot that I think we're drafting a quarterback. I do think, though, you can go a lot of different directions with this team. But here in the third round, or fourth round, excuse me, I think it just makes a whole lot more sense to get your guy, and so that's what we're going to do. And out of these two quarterbacks, and Christian Murray and Cornell Valentine, I like Murray a lot better. So Murray will be the selection here. I think he has great accuracies. He has normal dev, but I think he can make some plays, and he's going to have... We're going to give him an opportunity during the preseason. Justin Fields has to earn this job, and I hope that Christian comes in and he plays well, because he's going to get a true legitimate opportunity here to be the starter. As we're going to sim to the second, fourth round selection here. As you can go in a lot of different directions. So now, we don't have any running backs on our board, no receivers, no tight ends, limited across this offense. Is there any standout player that I really would want? And right now it looks like there is still one, and that is Kerry McKinney here. But this A finesse moves, McKinney will be the selection here. 86 strength, also normal development, but we just helped out our defensive line massively, getting two young rookies to help out. I'm loving this draft class right now. Two more selections to be made here, and now we're in the sixth round. What more can we accomplish here, as we have still 16 players on the board? A couple pass rushers. I think right now we're more thinking about depth purposes than anything. And there is a player here that I like, and that's D'Angelo Groves here. That A zone coverage always intrigues me. He's not the fastest, but I think D'Angelo will be the selection here. We're gonna get a good solid linebacker for depth, 84 speed, normal dev. But we've developed linebackers very well in this series, so Groves will have a true legitimate opportunity to develop. And now with the last pick here, and we have a seventh round selection here. We still have a lot of players still on the board. You know, we've now drafted a handful of players. I can't remember everyone, but what move do we want to make here? This could be a spot that we draft a running back, but I don't think that we're going to go in that direction. This was not a strong receiver class, it felt like. Not thinking about offensive line. There isn't, you know, another pass rusher, I don't think, that I like. There's a couple, actually. Do we go with one of these guys just to get another edge rushing depth? I think we were okay at off-ball linebacker. There's a couple safeties that we could decide to go for. I think we're going to go with a pass rusher in Chandler Bradley here out of Florida, 22 years old, B power moves. Welcome to the team, 84 strength, 78 speed. He will be the last selection for year number 2's at draft as we're entering into year 3. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the offseason? Did I make the proper moves? You know, we traded away Jamal Adams, traded back to draft Chuck Clark or something. I completely forget his name right now. But let's go through the draft recap real quick. What do you guys think of the draft class? Right here, right now, what do you guys think? Chuck Gardner here is a 73 overall, 82 overall here, and Johnny Derby here. Oh my. We just got ourselves a top tier guard center. He's already a top 7 offense or center in this league with good injury. He's athletic. Johnny, oh my, I love that selection right now. Chuck Gardner here. He was the other selection. He's the pass rusher, 77 power moves, 70 finesse. Okay, that's not too bad. Where's his strengths? 84. He's good enough to put his hand in the dirt here. And I really like the selection here with Chuck Gardner here. So we're going to immediately move him to, I think it's the right outside linebacker, and that will keep his overall the same. Cortez Watkins here, the defensive tackle that I was very intrigued with, 80 power moves. Okay, so we should have a little bit more of an interior pass rush here with these rookies. Really liking that. Dalton Kelly was a 75 overall. You know, his man and zone coverage are about the same. He's not a great tackler, but he's a young prospect that we can groom and develop. Jerry Gay here, 75 overall. He will be an excellent number 2 tight end. Might not be able to block particularly well, but Jerry here can make some plays here at tight end. A little bit of injury prone, but 88 speed, you can't teach that. Christian Murray is a 65 overall. No development trait. A lot of room to grow. Got a lot of work to do, and he is injury prone as well. Unfortunate there. 65 overall here with Gary McKinney here, but 75 power moves. Gotta really work on that block shed. He is a project for this team. D'Angelo Groves here, 64, but 66 zone coverage. You can work with this in terms of special teams. He can develop. And then finally, Chamber Bradley here, 63 and 70 power moves to start off with is not too shabby. So, I mean, we have definitely, you know, with our first, 5 selections, you know, a backup tight end, a corner that could get some opportunities, a pass or an interior lineman that could get some opportunities, a starting offensive lineman, and a starting edge rusher. Kind of happy with that. And then some interesting prospects here on the back half. Of course, we did not go with Artie Richards here. He was selected here, hidden dev. Yeah, you know, I'm not actually really that upset about not drafting Archie here. You know, he's a little bit, he's not as fat, you know, he's fast, but he's not elite. But good short accuracy, but that medium accuracy would take a long time to develop. So I'm not upset about it, but it's not I'm happy with it either. He was one player that we passed up on, and the other quarterback, and Deshaun Hill, we did pass up on, but not really worried about that, is Keith Randall here, who went to the New York Giants. Normal div. Oh my. Randall would have been an excellent selection for us. He's an excellent guy that we could have developed and move forward with if necessary. Damn. This is actually, even without development trait, I don't care about that. He has 85 and 88 medium and short accuracy. That's very good to start off with. So can't be that's one that I'm kind of punching myself a little bit, but can't get too upset about that. I don't know the ratings. Did we draft the highest overall player though? And we did. Johnny Derby at 82 center. You gotta love that. And this was an excellent corner groom. Dwight Royal, who went in the second round. And there was a lot of second round players that I liked. After our selection, Hannon here was a 76. Looking for the names. Mike Hyde here was a 74, who was my favorite receiver. 74 here with Clayton here. The other player was, we got Watkins here. What's his name? Ramsey, he was a 72. This was a solid draft class. Not a terrible class, but it's just a solid. We also got a very good third round safety or corner. Overall, guys, I think we did fairly well. Not too shabby at all, if you really think about it. So happy about the draft class, happy about the free agency. Let's sim to the preseason now. So there's still signings that I'm going to be doing. But this is right now the roster out of, once we just generating the best lineup here. We'll figure I'm gonna bring in some more players here, but you gotta be happy with this. What did you guys think of the offseason? We improved the offensive line that has struggled very much at times. I think we got a similar back in the backfield in Tyler Algier. We got the best player in the class. We also went out there and we got a pass rusher. We improved massively this defensive line with a lot of interesting prospects. We got a big time corner. We kept Eddie Jackson. I think we did fairly well here. We didn't get that outstanding player that we did last year. We didn't get a Josh Allen, a CJ Gardner-Johnson, or a Jamal Adams. We didn't get one of those type of players, but we did get quality depth, between both depth and future players for this team, and that's what we needed. I'm very much happy with that. Let me know down below, guys, what did you guys think? I am going to be making some signings, put together a 70-man roster for us for the preseason, but let me know down below what you guys thought of today's action. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know down below if I've messed up in any sort of way. I will be also spending the coach points. I'm going to do that off recording. But what do you guys think of this up and coming season? Right now, it looks like Justin Fields' job is secure, but he has a 4th round rookie quarterback trying to prove himself, as well as Jacoby Brissett. There is, though, one more thing that I want to look at before we go. Never mind, guys. I looked around the league. I thought I forgot something, but nevertheless, guys, please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the preseason highlight video. Have a great day.